Fantasy Philosophers is brought to you by fantasy-info.com.
The Chargers defense had their share of problems early in the 2009 season, as nose tackle Jamal Williams went down for the year early, and it looked like this team was not set up to be structurally good against the run, as they had undersized tackles behind him. But they did man it up and put it together, as about week 7 they went on a roll and ripped off a bunch of wins. They did finish in the run. They were at least a 20th, so that's at least damage control. They weren't horrible as I thought they might end up being. I think a credit to their offense for being so good, a credit to maybe their schedule for, at least in division, the division wasn't that great. And they finished 11th in total points given up, and they finished 11th in pass defense. So overall, they were a respectable unit to help this team be a winner. For fantasy, they weren't that great, as they really only had about 35 sacks, which is down from what this team has done in the past. Sean Merriman, obviously coming off of that nasty knee injury to ACL injury that he had the year before, so he was still recuperating and recovering while he was playing. He wasn't quite the same player. He was getting better as the season moved on. He was taking flack, but traditionally, it does take till your second season till you tend to be as fully recovered as about you're going to get from an injury like that. So I would expect Merriman to be stronger this season. Look for him to be, creating more disruption this year. They have gotten a little bit deeper in their linebacking core. They picked up another linebacker, I believe, in the 3rd round. So that's good to see. They keep stacking in the defensive players like that. I am concerned at nose tackle because Jamal Williams, he ended up leaving in free agency. He went off to the Denver Broncos. So they really don't have a traditional nose tackle. We'll see if those undersized guys can come out and put another, damage control season in there. But that's really not going to make this defense the defense that it was a few years ago that we grew accustomed to seeing when they had ultra talent all over that defense. They obviously lost Antonio Cromartie, but that's maybe not as big of a loss as one might think. He had a lot of talent. Sure, 3 years ago he had all those interceptions, but really ever since he became a starter, he wasn't all that great for them. So look for the Chargers. If you're going to go ahead and take them, if you like that defense because they're a winning team and they do have some playmakers there, I would suggest that you take them at the very end of your draft as maybe your number 2 defense if you're in a league that dictates that you have to hold on to 2 defenses in your league, the structure of the league. Other than that, really, they're probably a defense you can leave off on the waiver wire until they get some key matchups or a key stretch where they play some games that are worth taking advantage of, because there'll be some games in there. They play in the AFC West, and they get to play the NFC West this year, so that means games against teams like the St. Louis Rams. You've got the Seahawks if Matt Hasselbeck gets a little banged up, which he's been pretty frail lately. They don't have a great offensive line. Those are definitely some times where you would want to use this type of defense because of their schedule. So keep those things in mind as we're moving closer to draft day and we're going through the season.
For more fantasy football information, go to fantasy-info.com and sign up for our free e-newsletter. Good luck in your 2010 Fantasy Football League. As an added bonus, the Fantasy Info guys will include their 5 secret tips for success in fantasy